Hey, what is up guys, and welcome back to the channel. So in today's video I am bringing you the ultimate Crew 2 money making guide. So the way I've kind of structured this video is basically I've took a single event from each of the categories in the game, the one that makes you either the quickest money or one that is kind of like easiest, for some of the categories that are, a little bit more, I guess, niche and kind of looked over, and basically compile them into the ultimate money guide. So which one's going to make you either quick money or which one's either really straightforward for grinding them parts and making some quick easy cash. So with all that being said, let's get straight into the video. So to make making money a little bit easier on the Crew 2, you want to put as many points into the rich category as possible. This obviously gives you a little bit of a bonus to how many bucks you earn per event that you complete. So just put them in and you're pretty much onto a winner. So I mean, it's not overly important, but if you want a little bit extra per event, just go ahead and do that. So street racing class is up first, and it is the Harlem West event that I've gone for. Obviously it is a very straightforward layout, very quick, two basically really fast rapid laps, and you're going to come out with on ace difficulty around about 22k as a standard rate plus your bonus on top. The car I'm using here is a Lamborghini Gallardo, but we just do a little cut there and you're pretty much never going to have to look back. This is on max upgrades. I haven't put any kind of pro settings on it so far. It's a pretty straightforward event. You're going to see where most of the little cuts are. I believe there used to be a cut there, but they put a rock in, so I kind of avoided that. Really simple layout, nothing to really kind of mention here. I guess the only place to really mention is going to come up in a couple of seconds, well, a few seconds, and I will kind of point that out as we go around for the first lap. As you can see, just kind of use your boost on the more straightaways, and it's just here where you need to watch out for this little kind of ramp we've got. A little bit of a nightmare. You can sometimes get caught on into the buildings and such, but the more and more you run this event, the easier it's going to get, and you kind of know exactly where to hit it to kind of not make that mistake. But I think anyone that's kind of run this event now kind of has done it a few times. It happens to the best of us, so no need to overly worry about it. You should win this event pretty much by a long shot, even on the high difficulties. So we're only a minute in and we're already on lap 2. As you can see, the whole lap is just so simple and it's quite quick. You cannot really go wrong with the Lamborghini Gallardo, but I believe pretty much any street racing car should really do, even on the highest difficulty. Just make sure you've got the max upgrades. Feel free to tone down the difficulty if you want to. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I mean, it just depends how I'm kind of feeling. If I'm grinding money, I know it's pretty much a super simple win for this event. I know the layout off by heart, so I don't really need to kind of worry overly too much about which car I use and such. So I'll just bang it up onto the highest difficulty and just cruise away with it. So we're coming towards the end of the event here now. You can see it's going to be just over 2 minutes. It's quite easy to get it under 2 minutes, no problem. But if you're just chilling and stuff, you'll probably expect just over 2 minutes, and it shouldn't really be an issue for you. So that is the one that I've gone for the street racing class. So as you're going to see, here's the money we're going to get. We're going to get 3,000 followers, and we're going to get 26,217. Obviously we've got that bonus in rich. So super simple, and definitely one of the, I guess, more top methods in the game. It's kind of spoken about quite a bit. So for the drift category now, I've actually gone for the first track. So the event here, super simple layout, pretty easy money. I've got it on ace difficulty and it's going to pay out 18,900. It doesn't really matter where you go kind of for the drift events. I'm just going to kind of speed it up a little bit here. But as you're going to see with the layout and this maxed out drift car we've got, it's super simple. Not really any way you can make any massive, I guess, crashes or anything as such. I know some of the drift layouts are quite awkward. This one's just so straightforward. It's super simple. No need to kind of overdo it. You'll beat that score no problem. As long as you're okay at drift, I don't see why you couldn't just kind of use this method over and over again, especially for grinding parts and such. But it is really easy, straightforward money. And like I said, with the drift category, I believe they all pay the same. I did kind of check through and I'm pretty sure of it. I'm obviously recording a day or so later, but I'm pretty sure they all pretty much pay out the same, and we're already going to finish this event here with a lot more score than we really need to. And obviously this is on the ace difficulty, just kind of showing how simple this layout is. It's just a lot of wobbling in a straight line with a few corners at the end. and you're going to see the payout here. So we've massively beaten that score. We're going to get 2,570 followers and 22,472 bucks. So again, another really simple event. So for drag racing, I chose Eastfield. So I'll put it on the highest difficulty here. You can see the followers and the bucks just there. You can see my car's actually underpowered for it, but we're still going to pretty much smash it. Obviously I've sped this one up again because it's pretty boring just watching drag racing constantly. But if you don't know really what to do, obviously you keep the revs up in the green bar to burn some rubber, and then it's manual gears. The reason I chose this is because it's just pretty much an easy straight line, and if you want some quick and easy parts and quick and easy money, you know, it's super straightforward. Even with a relatively upgraded car, you should be able to kind of, you know, nail it on ace difficulty. It's not too difficult at all. Sometimes the AI does seem really overpowered in some of the drag races, but this one is pretty straightforward. Not too overpowered, you know, in the sense of the AI being a little bit too much. But as you're going to see, you know, even on some of the poorer runs, we're still going to smash that ghost time on ace difficulty. As we go for our final run, it's just a 1 mile straight line run. I believe this is one where I made an absolute mistake on the start. We're going to get a really poor run there. Yeah, we did. But as you can see, we did a 14.966, you know, beating the time quite, you know, easily. With an underpowered car, we're going to get 2,900 followers and 25,900 bucks. So that is it for the drag racing. So now probably the best event on the whole list. It's in the hypercar category, and it is high speed takedown. I've kept this on normal difficulty purely because obviously it gives you more cars to take out on the increased difficulties, and it's all about doing it as quick as you can. I believe my best time so far is around about like 18 seconds, but it is super straightforward. I believe it's 8 cars. You can get them taken out in no time, and as you're going to see, I'm going to play it in real time, and you're going to see how easy this method is. I believe most people should know about this. I'm obviously using the Bugatti here, and as you can see, sometimes the AI do glitch out and they're a little bit awkward to take out. I don't know if it's kind of like a fault in the game, but you'll be hitting boost and it will take no damage off them. But if you do nail a run of this and you just hit them all in the back with a little bit of boost before you go to ram them, you should get through the 8 in no time. As you can see, the AI is a little bit, I guess, glitchy at times, a little bit awkward, and it won't fall just right for you. But this is definitely the fastest way to make money in the game, no problem. Just keep it on easy. There's no reason to kind of boost up the difficulty, and as you can see, within a few seconds we're going to earn 2,000 followers and 18,789 bucks. So that's just how quick it is. There's, you know, no reason you shouldn't really be running that method. So on to Rally Raid now, and I've gone for Space Center Safe Cracking just because I'm like quite comfortable with the layout. I used to run it a lot when this kind of Motoflix pass came out originally. And as you can see, we're going to get 2,100 followers and 15,750 bucks as standard. Another one you want to keep on normal difficulty, and it's another one that I'll play in real time just so you can see how quick it is. So it seems like the Interceptor events are definitely some of the more easier and straightforward events. As you can see, already taken out 2 of the 8 within a matter of like 2 seconds. And then it's just a case of chasing them down. Again, it's kind of that awkward bit with the AI where you'll ram them, and sometimes it won't take any damage. It's just a bit awkward. That can kind of, you know, mess with your runs a bit. But apart from that, it's a really easy layout to learn. And once you're quick enough at it, I mean, I used to be able to do it really, really fast. I've kind of not touched this event in a good few months now. But when you do get used to it, you can pretty much get them before the ramp that jumps over the river out towards the Space Center location. So as you can see, that's the part where the AI is a little bit awkward. You feel like you've hit them enough, but it's just not quite enough. It just seems to be one of them things. But these Interceptor events are definitely a go-to for not only parts but also for money. If you do want to grind your parts out for like street race cars as well, I definitely recommend going and doing the pursuit events because they're just super simple, super fast. But I mean, like I said, I was going to maybe choose one of those for the street race category, But then I kind of thought Harlem West because it's just really easy and straightforward. So as you can see, that is Rally Raid now done, and we're going to come out with 2,100 followers and 19,400 bucks on the easiest difficulty. No need to turn the difficulty up. It will just give you a few more cars to take out. So on to Motocross now, and I chose the White Mountains event, another one that I kind of run on the highest difficulty because it's quite easy once you've got enough upgrades. I'm again using a lower rated car than the recommended, but it's going to be, you know, again, a really easy kind of layout. Once you've kind of done it, it's just a quick, easy 2 laps. Not too awkward at all. There's a little cut through there. The main thing is just like, since the latest update and they've kind of changed the handling, the bikes for me don't feel as kind of good as they used to. That kind of affects your time. I wouldn't fully really recommend running this unless you're kind of grinding for parts or you just really love the MX events. But again, it's just a really quick, easy layout. But like I was saying, for the kind of handling physics of these bikes now, it doesn't feel as good for me. It feels overly twitchy, and it does cause you to kind of overdo it for some of the ramps, and it can really just mess your run up. I did not get a perfect run at all here, so it is a bit of a slower run, but as you're going to see, like it's again just over a couple of minutes, and it's really straightforward. You shouldn't really have a problem. Once you've gone over it once, you should pretty much have it down in your memory, and as you're going to see, it's around about the same time as Harlem West. So that is going to be the MX class, and we're going to get 2.5 thousand followers and 22,207 bucks on the top difficulty, obviously with that rich bonus. So on to Rallycross now, and I've chosen another pursuit event. This is Southern Dash. Again, another one with a really easy layout. You're going to get as standard on the normal difficulty, which I recommend running on because obviously you don't have as many vehicles to take out. You're going to get 2,100 followers and 15,750 bucks. Obviously, we will get a bonus, so it does kind of, you know, make a little bit of a difference, but not overly too much. But it's up to you how many of your points you want to put into that rich bonus. So, you know, I definitely recommend using the Escalade for this if you've got it. It's definitely, I guess, one of the more stronger rallycross cars in the game, which is weird because, you know, you've got things like the Lancer, the Evo and such, which are just rapid, and this thing kind of stays up with them pretty damn well, but it's definitely very useful for this pursuit event. I'd definitely choose this over the Camaro, which you can use as well, just purely because it just feels a bit bulkier and a bit heavier, so when you hit them, you just feel like you're hitting them harder. I don't know if that's actually a thing in the game, but it does kind of feel like if I'm using a big truck compared to a car, I do feel like I'm just finding it much easier to kind of ram them and obviously get them taken out quicker. This was definitely not the perfect run, a bit of the AI being a bit awkward. I feel like I've hit them enough, and there's just a little bit left, you know, one more bar left on the health. So obviously where these have kind of respawned in, it's a little bit of a run up to them, but obviously with a bit of boost and such, you'll get on them in no time. And again, it's another one of them events that you can get done super early once you've learned the layout and know exactly where the spawns are going to be. So that is going to be the Southern Dash event done. Fair and square, very easy layout. I definitely recommend it over some of the race events purely because it's just so fast. 19k followers, 19k bucks, sorry, when we've done that. So now on to Hovercraft. Essentially, and I just wouldn't recommend ever touching these, but I did pick Gold Rush just because it's quite a nice layout to kind of go over with a Hovercraft. Do not recommend these at all, but obviously I'm doing it for each category, so I'll definitely choose, you know, Gold Rush over any of the others really, just because it's a nice pretty simple layout. But if you're like me, you'll absolutely hate these vehicles. As cool as they are, to have something as weird as this in the game, just the racing just ends up very boring, and in my case I just get very frustrated by them, even before obviously this latest handling update we've recently got. I just didn't like the way they felt, but it's up to you which hovercraft you recommend. I don't really know too much about them, so I can't really recommend a specific one. I went for the one that I believe you get through beating one of the boss races. I believe it may be, I want to say the off-road boss, that you get this one through. It's not max upgraded, and I would recommend just playing it on the easy. I did find that I didn't have enough parts to kind of go for ace difficulty and such. I could not keep up at all. The AI just wiped the floor with me. So if you really do want to run this for like parts and some money, then just keep it on easy. Unless you're comfortable enough. Personally, I feel like a lot of people that play this game find these very frustrating. And I guess they're in the same boat as me, where yes, they look cool, but they drive like an absolute dog, and they're not not that fun at all. But as you can see, that is going to be this event done. Pretty simple layout, like you can see from the footage. On the easiest difficulty, we're going to get 2.4k followers and about 18k bucks, so not too bad, but I wouldn't recommend it. So on to Aerobatics now, another one that I wouldn't massively recommend, but I went for Province Town. I believe they all pay the same anyway, so it doesn't really matter. It's kind of your personal preference, but I chose Province Town just because of how open the layout is, and obviously all the water around makes it super simple to kind of do your upside down low flying and such. Nothing going to kind of jump out at you at the last minute and such, because sometimes if you do it on the ground, you'll end up hitting a tree or something awkward like that. For me personally, I just would not recommend really running Aerobatics unless you're just going for the parts and want to get it fully upgraded. In a money sense, it's just not really too worth it. But I'd definitely keep it on easy difficulty unless you feel you're confident enough to kind of go on the ace difficulties, or you've got a plane that's at the a high enough rating for it. Then I kind of recommend boosting the difficulty up. I kept it on easy purely just for the sake of grinding. I don't really touch Aerobatics. I kind of did it on my original playthrough and never really went back since. I wouldn't say it's difficult to do. Sometimes your loops and such will kind of get glitched out and it's a little bit awkward, but apart from that, pretty straightforward and easy layout, again because of the water. And on the easiest difficulty, we're going to get 2.1k followers and 18,000 bucks. So on to the Demolition class, and I chose the ring just because it's a really easy layout, and kind of all the traps that are on it are pretty easy to just avoid. Again just kept it on easy difficulty purely for the sake of I don't really use these that much. They're pretty fun in kind of a group, but feel free to boost the difficulty up. It's not a really difficult class at all. But if you are going to grind money using these things, I definitely recommend doing the more race events and not the more derby events, purely because I do find them quite awkward when the AI is kind of boosted up on the high difficulties. They're much more difficult than it is to kind of complete the race events. And again, it's just an oval track with a few things that kind of jump out at you to try and hit you. I believe I did hit them a few times. That's mostly just due to me kind of losing concentration. Again, it's a pretty boring event, but it's really quite a simple layout. Again, you're going to avoid these traps pretty easily, apart from obviously me, because I'm a little bit dumb in the head. But let's not go into that. But yeah, again, just no problems at all. But I don't kind of get why you'd want to grind derby events. But I definitely found this the easiest. I guess if you wanted to go for derby parts and obviously get the max upgrades and stuff on the cars, then I'd recommend it, but I wouldn't kind of recommend it in a money sense. But again, I'm doing an ultimate money guide, so I'm including each and every category. The reason I didn't want to skip over categories is purely because I kind of want to include everything, because I feel like there's a category out there for everyone. Some people might not like street racing but really love aerobatics. I don't know why, but there is probably a person out there that kind of feels that way. So that's kind of why I've included one from everything, because it kind of allows you to mix it up and make the grind a little bit, I guess, less tedious. So I went for Colorado Riverbanks for the Jet Sprint event. Again, another one that I don't really know why you'd kind of go for it, but it's kind of an easy layout. I used to run this quite a bit just purely for, I guess, fun, more than grinding, because I do like the jet sprints. And as you can see, there is my previous time, and I'm going to make far too many mistakes because it's been a while since I've used these things, after only kind of recently coming back. I mean, I believe the last time I played it properly was around about January 2021. I did come back to this about 6 months ago, but I didn't overly play it, and I definitely didn't use the jet sprints. So yeah, a little bit of practice and I kind of get there, but it is not actually that bad of a layout. It's quite a quick layout as well, so once you get used to it and you know exactly where to go, you can run this in easily massively under 2 minutes. And I definitely recommend it for, grinding parts and such. Why you'd kind of use it for money, I don't really know, but there is probably someone out there that loves absolutely grinding money with jet sprints. But hey ho, as you're going to see, under 2 minutes, even on a bad run. My personal best run was a 1:38, so there you go, a minute and a half. You can actually do this in, and around about 15k bucks. So I don't know why you would use jet sprint, but who knows, there's something out there for everyone. So onto the monster trucks now. I chose Wreck and Hover just because I like the layout of this event, and it's quite actually a short event when you kind of get into it. You're going to get, at the standard rate, 2.1k followers and 15k bucks. You can feel free to boost it up, obviously, if you've got enough upgrades on the monster trucks. This is kind of, the, I guess, type of vehicle that I've never really overly used, but I kind of want to, so I didn't have massive amounts of upgrades on it. But as you're going to see, we're just going to pretty much walk away. I just kind of like the location of this event, really. But again, I'd kind of recommend this over like the point scoring events, which, sometimes they just feel like they drag on forever when you're constantly doing flips and stuff in them. And this is definitely probably the more, I guess, straightforward, fastest race kind of one for the monster trucks. Super simple layout, and it just kind of looks a lot prettier than the other ones. I believe the other one I'm thinking of, it basically goes through a woodland and desert and such, and it's pretty, dull to look at. I think if, you're going to be grinding money or grinding parts, then you kind of want the game to, look okay. Obviously the Crew 2's quite a dated game now, but obviously it does have some, pretty, colourful, pretty environments. So that is why I chose this event, and obviously it's pretty straightforward and quick. So we've won that event there in just over 2 minutes pretty easily. We're going to get 2k followers and 19,300 bucks. So, not too bad when it comes to the payout. And obviously if you want to grind monster trucks, then go for it. So this is an event I'd actually recommend 100%. And I kind of see why people grind this, because it's super simple, super straightforward. And I'm going to put it on ace difficulty. This is Uber Dam for the powerboats. So a very, very simple, straightforward event. Obviously, the main thing you kind of want to look out for when you're using powerboats is obviously the waves. What I do, as you can see here, I'm going to go around to kind of stay offline, and then I'm going to cut a cross and kind of, hopefully try and get them caught up in my wave a little bit so they don't catch me. This is with a maxed out boat. But again, like I said, really easy layout, and it is quite good for, the money that you get here. And you shouldn't, once you've got them upgrades on the boat, there's no reason why you couldn't, use this as a legitimate grinding, method. It's not kind of just put in there because I've got to cover all the classes. It is genuinely a decent method for money. As you can see, we're going to jump off the dam all the way down. And it's, I guess, a little bit more awkward through here just because the water's a lot more like rough. And it's quite enclosed, but again, it's not too bad. It's still open enough that you can kind of run through it pretty damn quick. As you can see, we're up near 200 miles an hour through these tight sections. I would kind of recommend using this ramp here, but kind of trying to avoid most of the ramps in the events, because when your boat's landing and such, it does like to slow you down quite a bit. But I'd recommend using the smaller ramps. So you're spending less time in the air, and it doesn't go with such a thud when it lands. But as you can see, in under a minute and a half, we're going to go across the line in pretty much one of the easiest events there is, and definitely the best event for grinding money. With powerboats, and definitely one of the top events in the whole game, in my opinion. On ace difficulty, we're going to get 22,000 bucks, so not bad at all. So, touring cars up next, and I went for the Jersey Everyzon track. So, again, another pretty easy event. Simple layout, quite a short event, and you're going to get 15k bucks, as your standard rate. It's up to you what difficulty you run it on. I just kept it on easy, but obviously, you could quite easily run this on ace difficulty and such, without too much of a problem. As you can see, the layout's really easy. Quite a wide track. There's no massive corners that are going to kind of catch you out like they do in some of these events. It's just a really, easy track to run. It's up to you if you want to kind of cut. Sometimes it will slow you down a bit too much, so I kind of recommend sticking to the tarmac and just doing the event as you would. As you can see, this is sped up a bit, but it's not bad you know, when it comes to being a bit of a grinding method for the touring cars. Some of the touring car events are like really long. It's the same with the Alpha GPs. So it was kind of all about, you know, just finding what's, I guess, the easiest layout, and definitely this is one of the easier layouts in the game that you can get done within around about under 3 minutes. So there's no real issue there, around about 2.5 minutes. It's all kind of dependent on what car you're using, how confident you are in the game. But obviously if you want to grind parts as well, I'd definitely recommend this one just because of how quick it goes over. Obviously some of the touring car events go on for upwards of 5 minutes, and they're not really that, you know, worth it. It's kind of easier to run these more, I guess, simple events, especially if you kind of want to mix it up and use different cars. But again, it's kind of another category that I wouldn't really recommend for grinding. There's just some, you know, definitely much stronger events to use. So next up, Air Race. Again, another event where I kind of don't know why you'd want to grind money on it. But again, you know, each kind of category needs an event to grind, and I definitely recommend Black Mount. Pretty easy layout, not too bad at all. The main thing you want to do is obviously just make sure you're kind of matching the angle it wants you to kind of hit these, I guess, pylons are. I'm not sure exactly what they're called. But yeah, obviously just match it and it'll kind of knock time off as well. And it's, again, you can, I wouldn't recommend using this plane. This is the one you get from this story mission. Definitely not the best. So just proving that really you can just beat it with anything you want. I'd recommend just running any difficulty you want, whatever you feel confident with. I just ran it on easy purely because, you know, I'm not really fussed about grinding Air Race. But there is probably a player out there that absolutely loves Air Race and will probably only want to do Air Race. So yeah, I mean, each to their own. So obviously I've included it. And again, you can just see it's a really easy layout. There's nothing really too complicated. There's nothing to just hit or any buildings to go between. And we're going to pretty much get this event done in just over a couple of minutes. So quite easily beating that easy time, no problem. And as you can see, under 2 minutes with the time taken off. So you're going to get 2,100 followers and 18,500 bucks. Again, there's probably someone out there that wants to do Air Race. And now it's Alpha GP. And I personally went for the Jersey City race because, again, really easy layout, really quick. Obviously, some of the other events do pay better, but they're, you know, much longer. So I just recommend this one. Again, another event with a really easy layout. No like massive corners to kind of catch you out and such. So you can pretty much blast through it, no problem. And once you've gone around one time, you'll pretty much remember the layout pretty much indefinitely then. Again, another event that, or category should I say, where I don't know why you'd want to grind it, but there is probably people out there that want to grind, you know, Alpha GPs. I definitely recommend this one for parts, that's for sure. Again, I think the, you know, simpleness of the layout and the fact that once you've got a, you know, a strong enough car, feel free to just bump the difficulty up. Obviously you'll earn extra money by doing so, and you'll earn rarer parts. So if you're kind of grinding for parts, I can kind of see why, but I wouldn't really go out my way to grind Alpha GP cars. I don't really like the way they drive, but there's probably people out there that absolutely love these things. Me personally, I'm not a huge fan of the Alpha GPs at all. Yeah, they're kind of cool to see, you know, official Red Bulls and such in the game, but it's not something I go to for kind of fun or money grinding, but someone probably does. So as you're going to see, we're already, you know, we've done the first place, just over 2 minutes, and we're going to get 2.1k followers and 18,500 bucks. Pretty straightforward and easy. Obviously that is on the lower difficulty, and like I said, feel free to bump it up. So that is it. That is my ultimate Crew 2 money guide. So obviously one event from each category in the game, and you know, some of them are kind of more obvious than others. Some you've probably not even thought of, because there's probably people out there that was like, yeah, I don't get why I grind money at Aerobatics. But you know, each to their own. There is probably players out there that kind of want to see these, I guess more or less appreciated categories kind of looked into when it comes to making money. And it does kind of keep the grind fresh. Sometimes, you know, just running the hypercar event over and over and over again, like we've all probably done at some point, just gets a little bit mind numbing. For me personally, switching it up and going through these, you know, one after the other was actually quite fun, really. But again, some, you know, some categories are better than others for the events. But that is going to be it. That is my ultimate Crew 2 money guide. So don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Cheers guys.